a Bramble Jam podcast. Well.
Oh, boy. Happy fall, everybody.
Burr.
It is great. It's great to be here today talking
about our favorite fall movie.
Our favorite ape, chimp.
Yeah, it's a chimp.
Yeah.
Chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Jennie. It's the Jennie Project,
Jennie is
everybody.
an ape. Jennie is not a monkey.
Jennie's, is an ape.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, I'll take that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to DCOM Descendants. It is great to be here on another Friday. What was everybody's highlight of their week?
Oh, it got freezing cold like about 12 hours ago. That was mine. That was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when we got that freak blizzard in August.
It was crazy.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
You know what else was nuts was the blizzard of reviews we've had come in, Dan.
Oh, you're right, man.
There's been so many.
It.
People love the show. They leave the review on Apple Podcasts. That helps more and more people find us, which is wonderful, including the review from who, Dan?
We don't actually have any new ones.
What?
We've got some new ratings.
Okay.
Some people have dropped a 5-star, which thank you very much. But we read Ian's last week. We don't have any new reviews, which does sting, especially since we're doing this live. Kind of a downer. But please go and leave a review so we can read it on the pod. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
That is true. I have some a thing that I didn't really know was existed, but on Spotify you can leave comments on episodes.
Ooh, that's fun.
Olivia on the Xenon the Zequel episode said, "Love the podcast, excited for the Descendants episode." And this is especially important to Olivia because Olivia's profile picture is the Descendants logo, the apple that we also didn't steal. We remade it. We had apple. Look, if you guys compare it,
they're different.
They're different. It was remade. It was restructured.
Can't get in trouble for this.
Ready to run. DJ said, "I have never seen a DCOM and have no plans to change that, but I was intrigued to hear Bran discuss them passionately while Dan is questioning his life choices. 5 stars each week."
5 stars each week, but left it on the Ready to Run episode where Sinbad briefly plays a horse.
That's right.
Yeah. Fair.
Glitchy left a
shout
review
out.
In
we love Glitchy.
a review in a language that I don't know.
Okay.
That's I don't know.
Yeah.
You can try it. But Alfonso
it's like Arabic.
Aguilera commented.
Alfonso Aguilera.
By
is that just Alonzo?
Alfonso Aguilera commented on a Horse Sense episode and just said Alfonso Aguilera.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So there you go.
Alfonso Aguilera.
So that's the thing. I didn't know that we had this.
That's great.
So it's very nice.
Should I check on Pocket Cast to see if we got any reviews on there?
I don't know if that's is that a thing?
I don't think it is.
I will say I'm a big fan of this jacket.
Yeah.
It is warm.
Yeah, it's nice.
There you go.
So when we do get that blizzard here in that Greenville, South Carolina,
ready?
I'm going to borrow this.
No ratings or reviews on Pocket Cast for DCOM Descendants. So.
6 months ago, Shelby said on the Under Wraps episode, said, "Love it. I wish there were more episodes to binge, but I'm excited to join this journey." Shelby, have you been enjoying it since then? Now that there's more episodes?
When we did Under Wraps, I wish there were more episodes to binge as well, but it was our first one.
Yeah,
that was our first one.
Yes.
But I love that right from the get-go, people wanted to binge them.
That's right.
I love that.
Today we're talking the Jennie Project, movie that's not available on Disney Plus. So we rented it.
Because it's really good.
And you don't have to, because we're going to talk about it here in just a few minutes. But maybe you haven't watched it and you really want to, and you're thinking to yourself, what should I eat?
Yeah.
What would be something that I could pair with the movie?
Yeah.
Luckily, we have you covered. It's time for Delish. Erin, you brought in a whole
You did a whole thing
today.
I did a whole thing. Yeah, I definitely did. I was inspired
by
monkeys.
but
apes to you, man.
Yeah, I was about to say.
She's an ape.
Is this ape bread?
Yeah, this is. I made ape. I made ape bread.
Ape bread. Okay.
Now, also known as monkey bread, for those at home that can't figure it out, that aren't watching on YouTube. How'd you go about doing this? Because you said that this is homemade.
Do you want the whole process? I took some yeast,
mixed
it with some warm water and ingredients, put it in a bowl to rise for a few hours, rolled it out, made little balls here.
Okay.
Rolled those balls in cinnamon sugar, let them rise again.
Okay.
Baked it.
And then you just put all the balls together.
Yes.
Well, no, they bake that way. Yeah.
They bake that way.
Yeah,
in a pan together.
Yep.
Right, that's what I mean, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should we try it now?
So you just pull
you
one
just
out.
Pull apart.
Yep.
Here we go.
It's hot. Woo!
Right.
This is exciting. This is to all the monkeys out there that are listening.
Shout out, Jenny. Blocking otherwise.
Yeah.
All right.
Who knew? Who knew balls of bread with cinnamon sugar on it would be so good?
Yeah. Nobody's cracked that up.
Why do they call it monkey bread?
Dude, I don't know.
What if it's racist?
I didn't look into it. I was a little afraid to find out why.
There's no way it's racist. That's like not our thing at all. We never like stumble into things and go, oh no. That's
The
racist.
original name of monkey bread is unknown. Almost assuredly racist.
Yo, if that's you out there, let us know. We'd love to hear from you about where this came from.
May have originated in Hungary, where it was called a golden dumpling.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad name for it.
No.
All right, monkey bread, everybody. Now you have it. Now you know.
We delished.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break down the Jennie Project here on DCOM Descendants.
Thanks, Erin. Anytime you want to join in would be great.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to Let's Pot a Parade. Today we were talking.
Yeah.
Man, what a great show.
Such a professional.
It's a great jacket.
I know what show I'm on.
Listen, it's cold out there. It's cold out there, and you got to bundle up. Bundle up now. Wait till you get
actively
older.
snowing right now here in that Greenville. South
We
Carolina.
you guys remember the ultimate Christmas present?
Mm-hmm. How could we forget it?
We stole. We found the thing. We found the
The machine. The
Yes,
weather machine.
The weather machine.
Yeah.
Let's talk Jennie Project, everybody. The Jennie Project is what number is this? 27, 28?
It's further down the list than that.
Really? We're not in the 30s though, right?
It's 30.
It's number
No.
30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, number 30, Jennie Project. Had to rent it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No skin off my no money off my credit card. That's for sure.
It released on the Disney
we
Channel.
definitely did not use Dan's personal credit card, not the company card.
That's right.
For sure.
July 13th, 2001 is when it premiered. You know what? I'm interested. I don't actually know how. This is going to sound like I'm going into a joke, and I'm not. I want to have I want to have a serious conversation.
Okay.
It's July of 2001. Mm-hmm. Are we going to see a big gap post 9/11 with DCOMs?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know, but my guess is no. Based upon being in college when that happened, I know that sports stopped for a while, but I don't think, and I know that production on a lot of 9/11-esque movies started in the following years, but I don't think that there was a huge, they may have paused for a week or two.
Okay.
But I don't think you're going to see like a 3-month or a 6-month gap. I don't think you're going to see that.
Okay, fair enough. Written by Douglas Preston, Charles Levitt, and Gary Nadeau. 3 people wrote this movie.
Nah, dude.
Also, Gary Nadeau also said Nadeau to directing. He said, "I do." Starring.
Do you, Gary, take this movie? Nadeau. I knew you'd like that.
Starring Lance Guest, Alex D. Lynn, shout out.
Home Alone 3.
Sheila Kelly, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and Abigail Mevity.
And who plays Jenny? Don't even want to honor the primate.
It doesn't say
Okay,
on
cool.
the Wikipedia. It doesn't say on the Wikipedia. It doesn't
Brandy's
say.
primates. Got it.
Let's dive into it. The movie kicks off with a young boy. His name is Andrew. He is reading comic books. He is annoyed by his sister. He is all of us, Dan. As young children with younger siblings, we just want to read our comic books in peace.
I do
but
want
we
to point
can't.
out
Go ahead.
neither you nor me, neither of us had younger siblings.
That's right. We were that younger sibling. I can tell from experience.
That's right.
That anytime your older sibling is doing anything,
that's the time.
That's the time to
do something.
That's the time to do something.
Bella and Ellie were the two chimpanzees that played
Jennie.
Two chimpanzees for the price of one.
Bella and Ellie. Shout out to humanehollywood.com.
God. Did they give this movie a passing grade?
Yes.
There's no way.
Good.
What?
Well, since the movie...
Bella and Ellie, maybe they used two of them. The movie's like 8 minutes long. Yeah. So, yeah.
And the movie, I think, entirely took place at a zoo. So,
yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
So they didn't fly to Africa?
I know. Shh.
Am I saying that right? Africa?
Africa.
Chimpanzee.
The chimpanzees in Africa. He hears that
everything I know.
This movie does do that to you. Andrew hears that his dad has just pulled up, which is a big deal because his dad has been gone for a long time.
8 months.
So mom...
Supposed to be gone for 3.
Yeah. So mom and Andrew, they seem annoyed with him. Not super excited to see him. But he has a friend with him, and that friend is a monkey. I mean,
how dare you?
A chimpanzee.
A
chimpanzee named Jennie. And apparently this monkey is the baby monkey that was saved after his mom was shot by poachers and then gave birth.
Yes.
The power of birth.
We do a whole flashback.
Yeah, it's a whole flashback.
And he brought her home via Delta Airlines.
That's right.
I don't know how he got this
checked
monkey
bag.
home.
I mean, he did have the monkey in a bag.
He did. Yeah,
which Humane Hollywood, I have questions.
Yes.
I have no idea. I mean, maybe it was different back in 2001, but today at least countries have laws about
Today, at least, countries do have laws.
like transporting live animals across. Yeah.
And it was, to be fair to Brand's point, it was before 9/11. It was different worlds.
You could do anything.
You could have put that in. You could put an ape in a bag, and there was no bag.
Yeah, as long as you buy him a ticket, I think that's all that matters.
All right, I guess.
So Dad, as mentioned, was only supposed to be gone for 3 months. He was gone for 8 months, but he insists this time that he is back.
He's back, baby.
He's back. Andrew,
I want to be clear. He didn't. I know you got stuff to do. He didn't call or write.
No,
he wrote. He did write.
I'm sorry. He didn't let anybody know he was coming home or that he was going to be gone an extra 2.5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the argument that takes place between mom and dad is that dad was trying to communicate with letters, but after he didn't come home after 3 months, she just started throwing the letters away. Mm-hmm. Like, don't want to hear from you.
Like, don't need your excuses.
Yeah.
So they're healthy. It's a healthy relationship.
Yes,
and then he thought, everyone's mad at me. What's the best way to come home? Unannounced with a chimpanzee.
That's right.
These kids are going to be pumped.
Will I tell him about the chimpanzee? No. I'm going to wait until the bag starts rolling around the lawn.
And Bella steps out with a diaper on, and there you go.
Yeah.
Chimpanzee.
In typical, like, bad dad DCOM, the
fashion.
dad, what?
In typical bad DCOM fashion.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I left out a word. He sits down at the table and he immediately starts like getting on his son about his schoolwork. Like, hey, you're not doing good enough. Your grades aren't good. Which, like, as if, Dad, like you haven't been around. And Andrew gets, I think, rightfully upset about this, leaves dinner early. And that's another thing. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing around here?
Well,
Kids leaving the table.
Doesn't Andrew call it? Like, his dad is like, Mom says your grades are slipping. And doesn't Andrew say, like, well, you weren't here?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, good for you, Andrew, speaking up. Like,
that's right.
You weren't even here, Dad. You don't get to be mad about my grades.
Tell him.
Like, you were in Africa.
Jennie, the sweet chimpanzee, goes to comfort Andrew, but at this point in time, Andrew's not having it. He's just mad. Mad in general, mad at life. That night, Jennie is supposed to sleep in the basement, but similar to Kevin McAllister, is scared of the basement. It's scary. Mom, Dad, is this a joke? And so he then comes upstairs and begins to cause absolute chaos in the house, destroys the kitchen, gets in bed with...
I just want to say, pronouns are important, and Jennie uses
don't
she,
even
her.
try. Don't even try.
What have I said?
You said he.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, everyone knows.
She's
all
right, Bran. Pronouns are.
Yeah, you're right. So she goes up, destroys the kitchen, gets in bed with the missus there. Not like in a weird way, but just
the
like
way you said it.
I understand, and that's why I qualified it. That's why I qualified it. It was a weird way to say it.
Like, how do I say that the chimpanzee messes up the kitchen and then crawls into their bed? You said...
I said got in bed with the missus.
Gets in bed with the missus is what you said.
I know, and I realized it was a mistake, hence the qualifier.
Did you write that down, or was that from the old
That
noggin?
was from the old noggin.
Yeah,
that was just right off the
and
old
that's really why
dome.
Frank the mailman hates Jenny, is because Jenny's in bed with the missus.
That's right.
In bed with the missus.
We'll get
right.
there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So the next day, Jenny runs through the doggy door. Do they have a dog?
No,
okay, they do have a doggy
but
door.
just in case.
You never know. Maybe they had one. Who can say, really? Maybe
They had a lizard at one point.
They did.
Maybe the last people that own the house had a...
Yes, absolutely. How do doggy doors work as far as like not letting all the cold air out?
The only way... I don't know the answer to that question.
I really feel like I just hit a nerve.
Well,
really.
I have a dog door on the porch door.
Right, of course. That makes sense. Who cares?
But we see in movies that these dog doors
interior door.
To the interior, it always bothers me. I've never mentioned it because I just thought I didn't know and I was stupid. But like,
and that's how I feel about most things.
Fair. And how does that work,
Erin?
Well, I would think that. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
I know that
we don't know.
Now the doggy doors are better. I mean,
doggy doors are better
that
now.
Not an answer.
Like they're more solid and you can like lock
does it
them.
work?
I think
They're better.
though the general, regardless of whether or not they're better.
I always thought it was like when you had a double door. Like if you had a wood door and a screen door, you would put the doggy door.
That's what I thought.
That's still
but that doesn't help you unless...
Yeah, because the screen is still out. It's still the exterior.
I would love to have a dog door on the back of my kitchen.
Yeah, it'd be
where
great.
I don't have to open my door constantly, but it doesn't work because the climate is completely screwed if you do it. If somebody has an answer,
leave us a
comment
review.
in the
I'll let you fix my door
in the Spotify episode. Leave a comment.
If you have a doggy door situation that works well, let us know what it is.
I saw a doggy door situation live. Incredible show. But the climate was really weird at the show.
Yeah.
At the show, it changed as the show went on.
In there.
Yeah. So and then like rodents, like other animals.
Are coming in.
Yeah, in and out. There's nothing. It's just a little push and they're in.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in South Carolina. If you don't have your doors closed, cockroaches are coming.
They are moving in.
They are moving in.
Harry's head?
What?
Home Alone. When he puts his head through.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, of course.
Where's that Marv?
Harry.
Okay, thank you.
Harry, yeah.
Anywhom, he gets
research this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna Google how to
Thanks.
doggy doors.
While you're doing that, I'll explain this. She gets through. She gets through the aforementioned doggy door. It is true. We went about that the longest way. Leave us a comment in the Spotify. This episode comes out.
Yeah,
we'll get to it eventually. We'll
Yeah.
get that answer.
Yeah.
She goes through the doggy door. Andrew goes to run after her, and that leads to Andrew upon catching the chimpanzee in the backyard of the neighbor, who is very scared by the chimp, by the way, to really begin to bond with Jenny. Like, hey, Jenny's actually pretty fun, pretty goofy, pretty weird.
Jenny
Kind of
would
like
fit
me.
really well on this block.
I think it's going to, absolutely. The block is now complete. Dad can't find it in himself to find another home for Jenny. So one night he realizes that Jenny needs... something to play with, a place to call her own.
Call her own, that's right.
So he stays up all night with Andrew building a treehouse.
Yep.
And everything starts to turn for the better. That is until Jenny's birthday, when there's a knock on the door.
Yep. Who is it?
There's no answer.
I said, who is it?
There's no answer.
I said, who is it?
It's Cheryl Lee Ralph.
It's Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Dr.
In
Pamela.
the award-winning Cheryl Lee Ralph.
That's right. Dr. Pamela Prentice apparently has written a lot of books, and everybody that meets her has read every book. They're always amazed by her. They tell her that...
So when you write books about signing to primates, you are world famous. You can't walk the streets.
Yeah, no.
You can't expect to be able to just not be mobbed at dinner when you've written books about sign language and primates. Like, you can't.
It's crazy out there. How's your research going,
Yeah, you're
Erin?
really locked in over there.
I found a Reddit thread about doggy doors, and the number
As good
one
as sources, any, I
yeah,
think.
just people like how do you keep other animals out? And one person's helpful suggestion was, well, the feral cats in the neighborhood and the raccoons and possums will come in, but usually they get scared and leave. Sometimes they will stay, and then you have to like call animal control. So apparently you just don't like it. But
can I ask you this? Are dog doors real? Or is it just a thing in movies? I understand they're real, but like, do real people have them like on the interior of their house?
Well, now
or is it just a thing in movies?
So I think they were more prevalent in movies where it's like everyone has a dog and 2.5 kids and a white picket fence. But
here's what I would say.
Now they're electronic.
Tell me about it. What would you say?
In a place with a milder climate, like Florida,
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego would be great. If you had a screen door and a full-size wooden door, you could put the dog door in the wooden door and just prop the screen door open during the day, close it at night, and you would be good to go. So that way, during the day, your pet has free run to go in and out without you having to open the door, and at night, you shut it down. That's the best I got.
Or you could have, if you still had the double doors, one's like a solid wood door, and the other one is the one where it's like half screen.
Yeah.
You can put the doggy door in the bottom. That way the wooden door stays open. They can come in and out.
I'm just trying to figure out a way to get it on the interior door. Like, because I have a dog door on a screen door with a glass half bottom.
Yeah, but like, I'm not, like, I know your setup is like wood door, porch, screen door. I'm saying the people who have double doors.
Back to back, yes.
That way it's not your interior.
But my thing is I still got to go open the door then. I got to go open the door.
But in a milder climate, you would just leave.
But what I'm saying is, a milder climate, you could do it on the big door, and that way all day you don't have to do anything except you prop it open at night and in the morning, and at night you just close that screen door.
You know what? I bet the people that are listening didn't anticipate this.
It's a lot of doggy door talk.
Sorry.
For the movie about the chimpanzee, there's a lot of this.
We've been saying, they say in this movie chimpanzee, they put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, and they do chimpanzee.
But every now and then they do say chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee, yes.
And sometimes it's chimpanzee, sometimes it says chimpanzee.
Yes.
And like, but 95% of the time, the emphasis is on the second.
They're really hitting the ponds.
They're hitting the ponds. I just heard you say raccoon.
I know, I did.
And
raccoons.
I say raccoon, like, or not that crazy, but like, I'm like, oh, are those raccoons? And you said raccoons.
I know.
I say raccoon sometimes, but as a funny, like when I'm trying to be silly.
Is that just how you say that word?
No, it was
you were being
chimpanzees.
Silly. Were you being silly?
You just threw it in there.
Africas.
Raccoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's good.
Cool.
She's good. She don't think on the fly like that.
It like didn't have 3 syllables, so it didn't.
Raccoon.
So when Dr. Prentice shows up, Dr. Prentice is appalled that they're having a birthday for this chimpanzee. She's
eating sugar.
Yes. And watching television. And it's at this point that Dr. Prentice says, no, we have to shut this down. I am going to begin working with Jennie so that I believe Jennie can learn sign language. And in order to do that, we got to get rid of all this tomfoolery, and we got to work together, your family and I, on the repetition and the reinforcement to help make sure that Jennie is learning these words.
But also, she starts leaking like, hey, maybe I could we really back at my shed. Where does she work?
At the shed, yeah.
Wherever she works, she's like, she would be better off
I don't remember the name of the
there.
center, but it's a
chimpanzee
center.
It's a center for primates.
I think she calls it a chimpanzee like community.
Yeah, and they don't really tell us. I assumed it was far. And I think we all did.
I did too.
Like more than a bike ride away? Yeah.
Specifically more than a bike ride.
She keeps insinuating like Jennie would be better there, and the dad keeps being like, no way in hell is that chimpanzee leaving my doorstep.
She's part of our family.
Family. Like, yeah, she like that's really the rub of this whole movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's hijinks and a mailman, but that's pretty much it, right?
They do have a hard time saying that Jennie's part of the family, but they're like, she's my child.
Yeah. It's a lot. So she does start to work with Jennie, and Jennie is hesitant to begin working with the good doctor. And it's just not.
Does this movie take place in the 1930s? For
Yes,
you? The Missus, the Good Doctor,
sliding into bed with the Missus.
That's right.
And I, no matter what the Good Doctor does, Jenny's not doing the signs, isn't doing all the things that she's supposed to.
Well,
But
clearly nobody from like the deaf community was consulted, because their way of teaching sign language is to just verbally say apple.
Yeah.
And Jenny's like, I don't know what any of that is.
yeah, that implies that
Jenny's
Would
like,
it
Jenny.
have
stupid.
helped if you were like,
Here's an apple.
water?
That's right.
Maybe.
All right, shut
Maybe.
off. All right.
Somebody
Over
knows
here.
a few words in sign language.
Oh my gosh, you're like Dan with Spanish.
Making up for the fact that she doesn't like honor pronouns. For the fact that she knows sign language.
We're
So
having
anyway,
fun.
they're
We're
all
having
like,
fun.
Jenny's dumb. She doesn't know sign language. And it's like, no, I think you're dumb. You just don't know how to teach.
No, well, I would.
But
The
it
Good
made
Doctor
me
has written
angry.
books, so it
made me angry.
Yeah. So
Barbara.
Jenny is not responding to any of the sign language
She's just Jenny
lessons.
from the block, man.
She's just
Like,
Jenny from
she
the block.
doesn't
She's
have
just chilling.
Time for this.
She's just here to
And-
hang out with her best friend, Andrew.
And I was gonna. Andrew
She's got a little, now
is.
she's got a lot.
Andrew just wants to have fun, you know? Like, hey, I got a fun thing going on with Jenny. We like to, just go
There's gotta be a
around.
better way to say
We
that.
like going around, messing around, kind of seeing things. I hold her hand. We go on walks. We have fun.
You're messing around.
And then
Little
one
fun
day,
little thing with Jenny
though,
until she crawls in bed with the missus.
that's right. One day, though, Jenny does do sign language, but for Andrew. And Andrew's like, whoa, this is crazy. Maybe there is.
no, she does it for the mom.
Oh, for the mom. That's right. Right. And then Andrew comes
Jenny
in.
gets in trouble, and the mom puts her in timeout, and Jenny asks to hug. I don't remember Jenny's sign, but to hug Jenny, and the mom's like, she gets it.
That's right. And the kids come in and they're like, this is amazing. And it becomes clear that Jenny really likes his family.
Yeah.
And the family makes Jenny feel safe. And when Jenny feels safe, then
and loved.
Jenny actually has been learning this stuff.
And
Yeah.
and that's all they need. It's not like they're going to have to prove this in like a court of law or anything.
Well, there's a mailman.
Oh no.
Okay. And
Wait
the-
a minute, Mr. Postman.
Frank. Is that his
Frank is really into
Weird
the
stuff.
missus.
Yeah, there it is.
And I don't
And
think
I feel
that's
like you are underselling it by just saying into the missus.
That's right.
He is
He has a problem.
trying to steal the missus from the dad.
From
Yes.
the mister.
And he just kind of keeps coming around randomly and whatnot. And one day gives some mail to Andrew and also is telling Andrew, hey, everybody thinks you're weird because you keep, walking around with the.
Yeah, well, he says you look like a chimpanzee,
Yeah, because he needs a haircut.
which his hair has looked the same the entire movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
shove off.
But yeah, he's like, you're weird. People are talking. Here's a letter.
Yeah.
Like, okay, dude, go away.
But the letter is a big deal because he does open the letter, and the letter is
Grant money for his dad to go back to Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he, in a moment of
Emotion.
sadness, anger, rage, rips up
Really good.
the letter.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jenny helps.
And Jenny helps. Jenny's like, this is fine.
Yeah, F that letter.
Jenny, though, while a very smart chimp, can only understand so much, sees good pal Andrew ripping up letters, knows that mailman delivers letters, and thinks,
Mailman.
yeah, mailman bad. Let's
Yeah.
get all the letters.
I will say this. Putting those pieces together is a lot of legwork for one chimpanzee. Sees one letter be ripped up and then goes, this person has lots of letters. They must be lots of bad. That's a leap because at any point over the last 2 months, the mom, the dad, the daughter have all probably held envelopes in their hand.
Yeah.
Weird that Jenny is like, well, it's just this person with letters.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if Jenny was Jenny there when Frank gave the letter, or just when Frank?
I think when he's
just-
opening it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense if Jenny saw Frank give the letter to Andrew and then because animals can pick up
Oh,
on.
for sure.
Like if someone came over and you were tense and upset, like your dogs would pick up on that. And so if Jenny had been there when Frank handed the letter, I think Jenny would have picked up on
Correct.
my friend is upset. But
And
then
I
it would
always,
have
when
just
I
been
come over, I
Frank
always.
is bad. I don't think it would necessarily would have translated to like everything that follows, but that's a big leap where.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
I've just been trying to tell Dan to calm down. Like when I come over, you don't have to be so like I'm not going to do anything, and he's still like he's always on edge.
It's kind of like when I had that dog attack you. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that, man.
It's a real story. We can tell later.
I'm bait. That's all I am. That's all I am to him.
And you still moved next door because you weren't next door, and you moved next door after I had a dog attack you. So,
Well, he should have been trying to sneak in the middle of the night.
That's true. That's true.
It's really on him. Through the doggy door.
So, shenanigans then transpires.
So many letters freaking everywhere.
Steals all the mail, I think, for the entire San Diego area.
And just like throwing it all around.
Too many letters.
Steals the mail
truck.
Truck, yes. Car. Drives it somehow with
pedals.
Yes. I don't know how all that happened, but it happened. Hits the brakes at one point, knows the brake and gas pedal that are different.
I think he put it together.
Jenny does a great job driving.
Jenny's a great driver.
For a 3-foot-tall chimpanzee, yeah, great job.
Yeah. And it's at this point that Jenny is now in danger of, just basically being taken by who knows who. So they have to go to court.
Yeah,
of course, where else would they go?
Frank is suing Jenny.
Yes, Frank.
For mail theft.
That's right. As you can sue a primate.
Yes.
That's what Frank is doing.
For mail theft.
So we show up in the courtroom and...
No one has told the judge that it is a primate.
Yeah, the judge is surprised by that.
Jenny comes in her best little dress.
It's just crazy.
Yes.
It's just crazy.
And the judge is like, why is that monkey in my courtroom? And they're like, excuse me, she is an ape.
Somebody named Jenny, no last name. Yeah. I didn't know it was a chimpanzee.
She has last name. She has the family
Jenny
name.
Archibald.
Jenny Archibald, excuse me.
Now, Jenny as a chimpanzee obviously has same rights and is able to defend herself on the stand if she so chooses.
Proves that, she's got fifth, sixth, all those amendments.
All the amendments. So she's on the stand and they bring in this interpreter and it's like Jenny is supposed to be able to do sign language. If Jenny's able to do sign language, then this will show that Jenny's smarter than your average chimpanzee.
Well, they wanted her to explain why she did it.
Yes.
Right. And they were like, yes, she has language. She can explain.
Yeah. And Jenny not interested in doing this and is just kind of like, listen, I'm not going to talk to you. I don't know who you are. And so at this point, you think, okay, there's nothing they could do.
But that's because the signer is using very eloquent sign language, whereas she's got a pretty primitive understanding of it. And so the kid pops up and uses more of a broken English with her. More of just
Jenny
a basic.
only knows 100 signs, and the interpreter is using very complex sentence structure, and the kid is just like, why? Jenny hurt Frank, why?
If you think we're getting in the weeds here, everyone in this courtroom is playing it like it is A Few Good Men. Everyone in this courtroom is playing it straight up, dead serious, super dramatic, like it is, Captain Queeg on the stand. Like it is not played for laughs at all.
Yeah. Everyone in the judge's defense, when Andrew stands up, the judge is like, who are you?
Yeah,
who are you? But you got to fight through. Just because a judge tells you to be quiet doesn't mean you have to. That's what I learned in this movie. Mm-hmm. And Andrew does continue to sign and begins to get a bit of the story, which is mailman bad, basically.
Mailman bad.
Well, she said, why Jenny hurt Frank, why? And then Jenny says Frank hurt Andrew. And then from that,
I'm just glad that
Andrew puts together, because Frank gave me the letter. And then
I'm glad that a chimpanzee knows 100 signs and one of them is Frank.
Yeah. This is
100 words, one of them's Frank. Dude, he's met once. Yeah. She's met once.
Yeah, pronouns, guys.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
And so then the good doctor, who is also in the courtroom, also stands up and begins to speak, despite not being
a lot of
someone who's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
In this particular case, stands up and says, you know who could really help in a situation like this? Maybe a little chimpanzee house that I have. Maybe I take chimpanzee
there
to house
where chimpanzee can hang out with other chimpanzees.
We didn't say this, but at one point Cheryl Lee Ralph has been authorized to offer him $70,000 for the chimp to go and live in a place where she could learn how to better communicate and live, basically.
And he says no.
And he's like, nah.
Jenny's part of the family.
Hard no.
That's right. So Jenny is let go and goes back to the family.
Your numbers lately haven't been very good. You've been falling down the job. You clocked out early twice last week, Jenny. We're going to have to let you go.
Let you go back to your home.
The court orders that she has to go to the center.
Yeah.
Yes, but she gets to go home first. She gets to go home
say
first.
Goodbye to everyone?
No. That's kind of the whole thing here.
She definitely gets to say goodbye to Andrew, her best friend.
That's especially not Andrew, actually. Mainly just
Are you saying that Andrew comes home from work and goes, I can't wait to tell Jenny? Where's Jenny?
Yeah, that's
Jenny?
That's exactly what happens. And then he takes off on his bike.
That's right.
Where could he have gone?
Yeah, because of course.
Did you even tell your kids Jenny was leaving today? No.
This primate sanctuary can't be within a bike
She's gone.
Ride range, and so he has to be going somewhere else, right? No,
of course.
No, he's not. Rides right on up to that primate center, sneaks into Jenny's little room, which is nice. It's a nice.
Jenny has a nice room.
Yeah, it looks really great. But
Jenny's not eating. Jenny's really very sad.
That's really sad. And
She's
so
not eating her Fruit Loops.
Andrew's plan was to, hey, let's go, but the door locks behind. It's a classic door lock behind situation.
Which makes sense because I was kind of wondering,
Yeah, how the that's right. That chimp could definitely get out of there otherwise.
So they sleep there. The good doctor sees them and
realizes
how deep this bond truly is.
Yeah.
And goes, maybe this isn't the best.
And also Andrew's family breaks out all of the red yarn and bulletin boards to figure out where he could have possibly gone. And hours later, they're like,
he went to see Jenny.
What about the place where they keep chimps down the street?
Now, could we have saved a lot of heartbreak and just put Jenny in the center and then just gone to visit her once a day?
But the fact that this family, the whole movie's about the chimp, and this family's like, hey, he could be anywhere, right? Have we checked the Dairy Queen? Have we checked
They got the new fall flavors.
Have we checked the movie theater? If only there was a place that housed chimps within a bike ride distance. There
is.
It's almost like we took his best friend in the world away and didn't let him say goodbye.
I'd have never thought that's where the kid went.
So Dad,
these parents are really just batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Dad finds Andrew and tells Andrew the news.
They're bringing Jenny home.
And I'm your dad going back to Africa.
To take Jenny back to her habitat to see if she can live in the wild.
Well, he says we're bringing Jenny home.
Right.
And that's all he says.
That's
and Andrew's excited.
That's like Arrested Development. It's like, I'm afraid we lost him.
And then eventually Andrew's like, you mean Africa?
Yeah.
Like just have a conversation with your son.
Right. And so he's obviously sad, but when he says I'm going to Africa, he's even more like, you just got here basically. And then he is able to spill the beans that he has this crazy idea. What if my family comes with me on one of these trips for once? You're going to Africa. Yeah. I'm going to Africa. We're all going to Africa.
The kids can be homeschooled for a little bit. Mom doesn't work. Seems like if you're going to disappear for 8 months, you could just bring your family.
You could do that. You sure could. And they do.
Okay.
They bring Jenny back to the area that Jenny was found, and they go to find, other chimps, her family, out in the wild, and Jenny reconnects immediately to these chimps that she's never
no problem at all
met before.
That's how that works.
Yeah, and she definitely has the skills to survive in the wild.
That's right,
for sure.
Andrew sees this. Andrew sees this and begins to feel better about the fact that I'm saying goodbye to my friend. But Jenny is where Jenny is supposed to be.
Yeah, I lost Jenny, but I think I found my dad.
That's right. I have my dad now. And that was the Jennie Project. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about our thoughts on the movie. We're going to rank and all that good stuff here on DCOM Descendants. Switch the jacket was louder. Welcome back, everybody, to DCOM Descendants. It's time for Overtime. We're talking about how the Jennie Project aged over time and our thoughts on the movie as a whole. This was one of those movies that, despite when it came out, none of us had seen it, Erin.
Don't group me in with you. You guys are the DCOM experts.
Right.
We are.
You had not seen
There's some movies that slip through the cracks, and apparently all the movies that slip through the cracks are the same for Erin and I.
That's right.
Which I think just proves that they weren't
That's
like,
right.
popular.
They showed some of them.
They showed them once or
they
twice.
clearly didn't own this one, so they didn't rerun it all the time.
Right. Like it's not on Disney Plus. They don't have the rights to it.
I think what we're proving here is you guys didn't watch a lot of these when they premiered. You probably watched them on a rerun.
Yeah,
right?
well, especially these early 2000 ones, I think is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the early 2000 ones I did watch, but it would depend on like how many, because I was young. I didn't understand how like a schedule worked. So the more commercials that aired for the movie, I'd be like, oh, I need to be here Friday night at 8. So if they weren't showing a lot of Jennie Project.
What?
And I also don't know if little 10-year-old me would have been thrilled.
Also, summertime, you guys could have been on vacation. Clearly
Could have been a lot of things. Could have been a lot of things.
Yeah, July is typically our family vacation time, so
there you go.
I could have been away.
Let's get to some of these Letterboxd reviews. Emily says, I'm sure I have something to say about this film, but I just know that in my quest to rewatch all the DCOMs, the next one in line is the sequel to Horsens, and I just can't explain how much I don't want to watch it. 5 stars. Red Eye says, don't have a lot to say about this one. There's an interesting plot line about a mailman, though, so just because of that, this movie gets 1.5 stars.
Wow.
Pro
Frank over there.
Bot B says, pretty boring, but it gets points for the monkey. Cute monkey. Clara.
She's not a monkey.
How dare you,
Come on, Bot B. Clara says,
Be
2.5.
better.
Bot be better, yeah. That's exactly right. You get it.
That's great. Clara says 2.5 stars. Why did this man get upset at a nurse for understandably not wanting a chimp in her hospital?
We didn't even talk about that.
That's true.
How did we miss that whole scene?
Yeah.
I'll bring it up in my overtime.
Oh my
We can
gosh.
talk
Okay,
about
great.
it.
Thank you. Mo says 2.5 stars. I'm so...
I mean, plot-wise, it's not really important.
No,
It
it's
is
not.
the most egregious part of this movie.
I'm so far into these DCOMs that a scene where a chimp gets called into court to testify using sign language didn't even make me question anything about what was going on. Bring Back Bop says this was 10 times more racist than The Color of Friendship.
Wow.
And
I guess.
Jacob 97 says every adult in this movie is irredeemable, and the chimp was a way better actor than the children. Let's talk about our thoughts on this movie. Erin, the Jennie Project. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree about Jennie being a great actor. There's that one scene when she first comes to the house and Andrew is upset and he goes outside and Jennie sits with him and they're doing a whole looks.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like the timing on that between the two of them was great. So yeah, Jennie was the best in this movie and I stand by that. I don't know. I really wanted to like this movie. I, at one point, really did pursue the career of linguistics and wanted to study gorillas and their language acquisition. And so I was like, yeah, this movie's gonna be great. We're gonna teach a chimpanzee sign language and she's gonna learn to communicate. But that wasn't even really the plot, and they do a very poor job of showcasing sign language. They do a poor job of a lot of things, showing family relationships. The whole point of this movie was that Jennie brings the family closer together, and I guess she did.
It is amazing how there are issues where Disney's way ahead of the curve, like an all family of color being superheroes on 25 years ago. Crazy. Mm-hmm. A female riding motorbikes in a boys sport, quote unquote, way ahead of its time. And then I don't know what's going on here.
It's based on a book, but I just, when you look at all the other Disney Channel themes, I don't know where this movie comes in. I don't know why they were like, do they have to do one serious one a year? And so the previous year we got Color of Friendship, and this year we get the Jennie Project. I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit in with the other movies. We've got Xenon the Sequel, and then a couple weeks later we've got Xenon the Sequel, Luck of the Irish, Jennie Project. It just doesn't go well. They do this weird thing all movie where they want to say that Jennie is part of the family, and there's like this weird undertone where no one is going to say it, but the parents at least, definitely think Jennie is a human child. And the part that we didn't talk about in the plot is after the mail truck accident, the dad rushes Jennie to a human hospital.
Oh, a human hospital.
I'm going to specify human hospital because my first thought would have been to take Jennie to a vet or
animal hospital,
to the chimpanzee center or to the zoo or something, like somewhere
the primate center they have in town.
Literally a bike ride away.
Somewhere where like there would be specialists who know how to treat a chimpanzee body. And instead he takes the chimp to a hospital and the nurse opens the blanket and is like, this isn't a baby, this is a chimpanzee. And he's like, well, yeah, what did you think? And she's the bad guy for not wanting to treat the chimpanzee in a human. And she's like, you need to take the animal out of here. And he's like, how dare you? I'm going to speak to your manager. And it's like,
go for it, bro.
No, nobody in this hospital is qualified to treat this chimpanzee. Also, I would assume like a sanitation issue.
Liability insurance alone would be, you got to get him out of there right now.
And all it takes is he's off yelling at the nurse and he tells Andrew, take her, go sit down. So then Andrew starts talking to the chimp in sign language. There happens to be a deaf boy who sees this. He comes over and tells Jennie, I hope you feel better in sign language. The nurse is like, oh, she knows sign language? Bring her on back here. And then the chimp gets treated in the hospital.
It's the worst thing.
The nurse's hands are tied. The hospital has clear rules about sign language.
So I don't know.
If it doesn't really matter what it is. If you can do sign language, we can see.
The hospital's right beside the chimp thing. Where do you think Andrew is? I checked the arcade and the laser tag.
So I really wanted to like this movie. It's the dad from Sepsis from Planet Weird. It's the kid from Home Alone 3. We've got a chimpanzee doing sign language, and yet none of it really landed for me.
This movie's it alternates so quickly, constantly throughout this movie, from being super serious with the music over top of it, like you're learning a lesson, and to here's some funny, wacky stuff, and it just goes back and forth for an hour, 16 minutes. And it's tough. It's tough. On top of all that,
I'm laughing, I'm crying.
I think the dad is the most unlikable character we've ever seen. You being gone for 8 months when you said you were being gone for 3, already an uphill battle, but then for you to come in here and start trying to be a dad to your kid and be surprised when your kid doesn't respond very well is shove off, dude. Just think for 1 second.
And then the very first days, he doesn't give anyone a heads up he's bringing a chimpanzee home, and so they have to deal with that overnight. The next day, he goes back to work, and he just, as he's pedaling away on his bike, is just like, hey, you're going to have to keep an eye on Jennie. You are going to have to change your diaper.
He's the most selfish.
And the mom is in her bathrobe in the front lawn, what just happened
here? He's so selfish. It's clear he has no desire to be a dad or a husband. Not at no point, even the end. His first thought was, I'm going back to Africa. Yeah, and it took someone being his wife basically be like, hey, dummy, let's think this through.
For you to be here.
Yeah. And he has no desire to be a dad, no desire to be a husband.
Oh, and is it, when do they have their failed father-son talk? Is it after he leaves the table? There's one point where
it's later on in the movie.
Where they're having a father-son chat in Andrew's room. Andrew is clearly upset about something, and he makes the comment about how he doesn't think his dad wants to be there or wants to be his dad. And the dad is like, is that really what you think?
Yeah.
And instead of taking that moment to be like, I can understand why me disappearing for 8 months of the year unexpectedly shows that, but I still love you. But instead of saying any of that, he gets mad at Andrew and is like, well, I'm not going to talk to someone who's not mature enough to have this conversation.
A+ parenting.
Even though there's been some fathers so far in some of these DCOMs that start off rocky, and then they like Brink's dad, for instance.
Yeah, he comes around.
He comes around, has a great scene.
Motocross.
Another one.
Dad,
I think it's this dad. He never has that conversation with his son.
No.
He's like, we're going to Africa, and that's, I guess, supposed to be the big thing. But
I
this
learned my
dad
lesson,
sucks.
yeah.
I hate this dad. The chimp is really cute. We love the chimp. But aside from that, this movie is a tough watch. And it just gives you whiplash, and so it's tough. Dano?
Yeah,
As we're talking about it, I do think I might need to adjust my rating.
Yeah, well, you have time.
Yeah,
you have time.
To borrow a phrase from Bran, this movie womps. There is a scene where Alex Lins and the chimp sit side by side, and they keep trying to look at each other and look away. Aside from that, it is 85 minutes of terrible. It is bad father, weird chimp courtroom scene. How is this place a bike ride away? Why are we feeling bad? And then there's ska music playing. Like, everything about this movie is tonally dissonant with bad characters and bad acting. It's one of the worst we've watched. My rankings do change this week in the top 10.
Okay.
But not because of this movie. This movie's terrible. If I did these rankings based upon what movies would I rather watch aside from this one, it's virtually all of them. Its saving grace is that it is 76 minutes long. That is the one positive. It is not 90. It's not even 85. It's 76 minutes. That did help a little. Aside from that, hate it. Terrible.
Could you imagine another 15 minutes of this movie?
No, couldn't. Absolutely couldn't.
I really feel like they were adding scenes in there to make it an hour 16.
Yeah, this movie womps real bad.
It's time to make that list, everybody, where we add this to our rankings, which is now 30 deep now, which is insane, to find out where this movie's going to land, and then we will read our top 10 if somehow the Jennie Project didn't break that top 10. Erin, where are you at?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, before we really dove back into this plot and broke it down, I had it at number 22 on my list.
That's kind.
Yeah. I was like, I think I'd rather watch this movie than watch Hounded, and that's where it landed, was right before Hounded. But no, rethinking that, I thought, you know what, I do think...
Give me Taj and the dog hijinks.
Yeah, because the one thing I really hated about that movie was the very long, 20-minute scene where the dog destroys the house. And I could just fast forward through that one scene, and the rest of the movie, fine.
Yeah.
You can't fast forward...
You'll fast forward all of it, but the one scene.
It just...
Literally.
So now it's debuting at 24, just behind Stepsister from Planet Weird, because I think the dad was better in that one.
So much better
dad,
in that one.
Same dad.
So much better in that one.
I kept trying to, while watching this movie, I kept trying to picture if he was Cosmo Cola, and it would have been a better character, because at least you've been like, he's weird, but it's because he's an alien.
What do you have at 24? What's 25?
Ready to Run.
Okay, interesting.
Wow. Okay.
What's your top 10?
Top 10 hasn't changed. We've got Brink at number 10, The Other Me, Quince, Xenon, Halloween Town, The Luck of the Irish, Smart House, Miracle on Lane 2, Johnny Tsunami, and number 1 is Motocross.
Oh, you went to Motocross at number 1. Were you at Johnny Tsunami?
It's been Motocross for 3 weeks.
He's at Johnny Tsunami. My bad. He's
at Brink.
He's at Brink. So it wasn't John. Okay, my bad.
I coincidentally, Erin, also have the Jennie Project right ahead of Ready to Run, but I have it at spot 29 because I have Ready to Run at number 30. So this is the second worst movie we've watched so far. Jennie Project debuting at 29. So if Jennie put on headphones and started to run around, then we'd have ourselves a movie. Now we're talking. Combine the two stories, Ready to Run and Jennie Project, and we've got ourselves a banger of a movie.
And it's tough, too, because we talked while we were watching it, how this was a period of time where there were just a lot of monkey ape movies.
Tons.
And so when I think about, wanting to like this is because I liked MVP and Dunstan Checks In and Mighty Joe Young and all those different movies. And this one's just...
But I just, in my bottom, definitely my bottom 10, I have a Horse Sense, Hounded, You Lucky Dog, Jennie Project, Ready to Run. I hate animal movies, apparently. The DCOM animal movies are the worst. the worst. And I think that's the big takeaway from this movie. My top 10 didn't change this week, but it's Phantom at 10, Halloween Town 9, Miracle Lane 2, 8, Jet Jackson 7, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire 6, Luck of the Irish 5, Smart House 4, Motocross 3, Johnny Tsunami 1, and
Johnny Tsunami
2, and 1, the greatest movie of all time, Brink.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Brink is never moving.
I also have the Jennie Project at 29.
Hey!
I have Stepsister from Planet Weird at 30.
Oh.
And compared to you guys, I guess Ready to Run's a veritable classic. I have it at 24.
Wow.
But I do have all of
you
those.
Not docking Ready to Run more because of the absolutes.
I mean, it's in the bottom 6.
Dan, they claim they had Sinbad,
but
that should be
a girl who's like racing horses and doing something. Like there's a few decent scenes. in
She
that
races
movie.
one horse in one scene.
I will say this: I'm with you on the animal thing. I have all Jennie Project, You Lucky Dog, Ready to Run, Horse Sense, and Hounded all bottom 10.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the right thing.
And I have Hounded as the best of those movies.
Well,
that's the best of them is Hounded.
I have Horse Sense right above Hounded.
Now I will say this: my top 10.
Yeah, I have horses right above Hounded.
My top 10 did move around a little bit.
All right.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what struck me. But The Other Me no longer in my top 10. It's
where was it
211.
last week?
It was
Do you remember?
10.
It was at 10. Okay.
Was it knowing that next week we have to watch Jumping Ship?
Can I tell you this? Can
too
I
much
tell you
Lawrence.
something happened to me in the last 2 hours where I realized I didn't want an Andy Lawrence movie in my top 10.
That's fair.
I don't know what it was.
That's fair.
You can say maybe, I don't know. Maybe Jumping Ship will help next week. Into the 10th spot. You guys will be very thrilled about this. Into the 10th spot, Luck of the Irish.
Oh, wow. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York.
You're out of frame.
I don't think it'll stay there. I'm sure there'll be better
USA.
movies, but right now it's there. There's a couple other changes as well.
I think Luck of the Irish was the Olympics that did it for you.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, that's what it was.
pride.
Number 10, Luck of the Irish. Number 9, Smart House. Number 8, Moving Down. Brink. Number 8, Brink.
It was a good run.
Moving ahead of Brink, Quince at 7. And 6,
And
the movie that keeps moving up my list, Phantom of the Megaplex, a movie when I watched it, I was like, I don't know what all the hype's about. And then I have had more positive thoughts about this movie than any other movie.
It stays with you.
It's Rooney. It's the waxing poetic about the cinema.
Yeah.
It just works better than I guess, because it's at 6. 5, Miracle Lane 2. 4, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. 3, Halloween Town. 2, Johnny Tsunami. Number 1, by far the best DCOM, it's Motocross.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. There's been a lot of talk about Jumping Ship, and guess what? It's next week. We're doing Jumping
Tomorrow
Ship
we
next
are
week.
Jumping Ship.
Tomorrow?
Next week, next Friday.
Did I say
it's a
tomorrow?
double-
Next
double
Friday. Double drop. Saturday. No, next Friday. Jumping
Yeah,
Ship.
I don't know how days work.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't even know what my birthday
Thanks for joining us. Leave a review. Do whatever you want to do. Share it with a friend. I don't care. Thanks for listening.
I care. Share
Keep
with a friend.
decoming.
DCOM Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast produced by Brandon Gray here in that Greenville at the Bramble Jam Podcast Network studios. You can follow us on the socials at DCOM Descendants. You can follow us on the web, DCOMPodcast.com. Please rate and review the podcast. It helps us. That's all I have.